Shalom, shalom. I don't know if you guys can hear me. Let me actually, for those that's hopping on the live a little later, I'm checking to see if the sound is clear before I start. Shalom, shalom. Okay, I can hear you. I can hear. Let me actually, for those that's hopping on the live a little later, I'm checking to see if the sound is clear before I start. So, shalom, family. This is well, willing a quick recap from camp. Trying to speak on this point now. Lord willing, I get to do another one where I'm able to really dissect, certain points. But first and foremost, I want to give all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rakakadash, Barakati Yahweh, Barakati Yahushai. Double honors to the other apostles and the elders of Great Millstone who rule well and teach well through the Spirit. And I want to get, I want to say, double honors to the other apostles and the elders of Great Millstone who rule well and teach well through the Spirit. A mighty shalom to the hopeful elect scattered four corners of the earth, teaching this word and believing this word, Lord willing that they continue to endure and be sincere in the same spirit. And a mighty shalom to the hopeful elect in the same spirit, teaching this word and believing this word. Shalom to the Akwat believers of the faith and this truth, Lord willing that they continue to endure and be sincere in the same spirit and in sound doctrine. Lord willing the most have mercy on the other brothers and sisters that's not in the faith. Now, I want to deal with this point with a brother, and I can't really play it because this phone is a little too low, so you ain't gonna be able to hear it. So I'm gonna try to just expound on what was said. It was a point during camp where a brother came up and he was dealing with all the other nations, saying that all the other nations are gonna get saved. But then we were speaking on Deuteronomy the 28th chapter, because Jeremiah was going into the curses and that only the Israelites is going through this. And he was like, wait, how are they only going through these curses? And, I had expounded, even though brothers was expounding too, but it was a point that I had made that when you understand the law was actually given only to the children of Israel. So before I read Deuteronomy 28, for y'all that's probably watching the 716 channel, when we did camp today, it was a point. So I just want to just bring this out because a lot of people, this right here is going to always be a topic always talked about, because a lot of people truly don't understand that the Bible is only for the Israelites. When you talk about repent, sin, I just seen a little Christian boy that always be doing videos, I think since he was like 10 or whatever. He started trying to debunk Hebrew Israelites, saying that all people can be saved. They got to believe in Yahweh Shai and repent. Now, he's saying Jesus and he's saying repent. But when you even talk about repent, being sorry, and then he talks about for all their sins. Now, yes, nations sin, but when we talk about compared to the law, only those that truly sin is those that was given the law. Those are the ones that truly transgress the law. If the so-called Edomites, the Elamites, the Moabites as a nation was not given the law, it's not mandatory for them to follow the law to the T or to the best of their ability. But okay, it's nations back then that were servants under us, and they had to be converted to our ways. But Jake at right now, especially when we look at the time we in now, and all the way from back then, as a whole, Second Ezra, the 3rd chapter, verse 34 and 35, which the Lord can only find his name in the nation of Israel, and only the children of Israel kept thy precepts, precept as in law. So this is Psalms 147, verse 19 and 20. It says, he showeth his word unto Jacob and his statutes and his judgments unto Israel. He have not dealt so with any nation. And as for his judgments, they have not known them. Praise ye Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai. So the Lord didn't deal with the other nations, and they never kept the precepts. They never kept the law. They never kept the statutes because it wasn't given to them. The Lord don't know the nations. Not saying, "Oh, I don't know you at all." He don't know them in a intimate level, right? The Lord is intimate with the children of Israel. Intimate how? Because we just read a verse that He only gave the children of Israel the law. He intimate to Israel that He gave the land, right? Second Ezra, the 6th chapter, verse 54 to 56. He said, Ezra said in verse 55 that Yahweh made the world for our sakes. That's an intimate relationship, right? The Yasharallah means prince of the power. Talking about Jacob, but the whole 12 tribes of Israel, we are the prince of Yahweh. You know, we are the prince of Yahweh, man. Got to get that. We got to get that in our thick heads. Like, Jake, why can't you accept that Yahweh is choosing you over? We never had nobody tell us that, you know? So going back to the point of Deuteronomy, the 28th chapter, verse 1. Now, just pay close attention, right? This is the blessing part, but verse 1 is the key. It says, and it shall come to pass, if thou shalt hearken diligently unto the voice of Yahweh thy power, to observe and do all his commandments, which is the law, statutes, and commandments, which I command thee this day, that Yahweh thy power will set thee on high above all nations on the earth. So if we was to keep the commandments of Yahweh Bashim Shai, we would be above all nations, basically ruling. We would never come down. But we have sinned, right? And Moses is prophesying this because we're not even in the land yet. So when you get to verse 15 to 68, right? Through the whole time after, really after Solomon fell, but we had moments when we go into the book of Judges, you see Benjamin trying to lay with the Levite man, right? We see Jake committing sins of the people of the land. Then then when we have kings, right? Really in the time when Solomon fell, Jake went to serving other idols, false gods, right? You know, LGB, men loving men, women loving women, eating lobster, crab, and shrimp. We started being oppressed, right? Eating unclean food, doing things that don't pertain that the Lord said that thou shalt do. What is that? Right? That goes back to the to verse 1. Right? If you observe to do all his commandments. We didn't observe to do all his commandments. Why was this spoken if the Lord knew we was going to do it? To usher in Yahweh Shai. Because even the things in the law with the sacrifice, the lambs and the goats, it was not beneficial because Yahweh Shai was the true example of those sacrifices. Right? So when we drop down, these are the verses that Yarmayan went to. When you drop down to verse 15, you know, it says, but it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of Yahweh thy power, to observe to do all his commandments and his statutes, which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee. Right? So if we didn't take heed to the words of Yahweh Bashim Shai through Moses, that all the curses from 15 all the way to 68 will consume us and overtake us. When you go to 64, then we're going to be scattered in the midst of all nations. Now, all the other nations is in the hands of these same rulers, you are right. That just means they got conquered, and Esau put his own people under him. He didn't give all the top Edomites didn't give benefits to all other Edomites, the same benefits they got, right? They in the slums just like us. But when it comes to the law, what the Lord told the Israelites, We are in captivity because we rebelled against Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. That's why it's different. It's different. 2 Chainz said it. I'm different, right? Our situation is different from all nations. Oh, I get the same tap water